Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, your life just keeps repeating the same patterns? Like you're stuck in a loop? Because for a long time, that's exactly how I felt. I genuinely believed nothing was ever going to change. And to be honest, whenever people talked about mindset, I rolled my eyes. It sounded like motivational fluff. You know the kind of advice. Just stay positive. Think happy thoughts. When you're struggling, hearing that can feel completely disconnected from reality. But over time, I discovered something that changed everything. My thoughts weren't just reacting to my life. They were quietly helping shape it, and I didn't even realize it. For years, I carried a lot of anger, frustration, and hopelessness. I felt disconnected from myself and from other people. Instead of feeling like I was creating my life, I felt like life was happening to me. And when you stay in that emotional state long enough, something dangerous can happen. Your pain starts becoming part of your identity. You stop saying, "I'm having a hard time," and you start saying, "This is just who I am." The problem is that once pain becomes your identity, your brain starts looking for evidence to support it. And that's where many people get stuck. They try to change their job, their relationships, their habits, their environment. But underneath all of that, they're still carrying the same story about themselves. And that story influences everything. Part of my journey started in foster care. As a kid, I often felt caught between two different worlds. On one side was the foster family I lived with. On the other side was Children's Aid. Looking back, I understand that everyone involved was trying to do what they believed was right. But as a child, it felt confusing. I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't know who I could talk to. And over time, I developed this feeling that I didn't truly fit anywhere. That feeling followed me for years. Maybe you felt something similar, not necessarily from foster care, but from experiences that left you feeling unseen, misunderstood, or disconnected. The challenge is that those experiences don't just disappear, they often become beliefs, and those beliefs become the lens through which we see ourselves and the world. For a long time, I expected disappointment. I expected things to go wrong, and here's why. When you've been hurt, your brain tries to protect you by preparing for more pain. But eventually, I realized something important. The events that happened to me were real. The pain was real. But the meaning I attached to those events was shaping my future. And those are not the same thing. You can't always control what happened to you. You can't change your past. But you can choose what that past means moving forward. And that changes everything. Years later, I gained access to old reports written about me as a child. In one of them, there were comments suggesting there might be intellectual concerns because of physical characteristics they observed. Reading that hit hard. For a moment, it hurt deeply. But then I had a realization. Other people's opinions were never my identity. Their assumptions weren't my identity. Their labels weren't my identity. And I think many of us carry labels we accepted years ago without questioning them. Maybe someone told you that you weren't smart enough, good enough, capable enough. Maybe you started believing it. But what if the story you've been repeating about yourself isn't actually true? That question changed my life. Once I became aware of my internal story, I started changing it. Not overnight, not perfectly, just little by little. Instead of saying, "My life is broken," I started asking, "What if my life is still being built?" Instead of thinking, "Nothing works for me," I asked, "What if I've been looking at myself through years of pain?" That shift may sound small, but it changes everything. Because mindset isn't pretending life is perfect. It's learning to stop working against yourself. Here's what I've learned. Two people can go through very similar experiences and end up with completely different futures. One becomes trapped by the story. The other becomes transformed by it. Same pain, different meaning. Your past matters. But it doesn't automatically determine your future. The meaning you give your experiences matters. The story you tell yourself matters. And sometimes healing isn't just emotional. It's about identity. It's about learning to stop introducing yourself to life through your wounds. So here's my question for you. What story have you been telling yourself for years? And what might change if you started questioning it? Because your life may not change overnight. Mine didn't. But your direction can change. And sometimes changing your direction starts with changing the story you've been carrying. Not ignoring your pain. Not pretending everything is okay. But recognizing that what happened to you is not the full definition of who you are. And maybe the life you want begins the moment you stop seeing yourself through the eyes of your past.